welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and I have my ever-present, always funny, and right on time, Paul Vato, my co-host with me. Hey, Paul.
Awesome. Great to see everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for having me, AJ. This is amazing. I'm a little high right now because I had a double espresso. Probably not the smart thing to do at the end of the night, but I found a little can of Mexican vanilla double espresso. So I'm a little wired. Forgive me.
Then we're on the same page. I'll wait for that intro, but I had my cafe mocha vodka marijuana latte about 15 minutes ago.
Amazing.
We're already to it, and we're talking about coffee, which I love. I love coffee. Well, we've got an incredible star here, a show and a star. It's going to be a star show. Let's give a very warm welcome to actor and manager and producer, also known as Hollywood's auctioneer, Barry Ratcliffe. Hey, Barry, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
So this is wonderful. It's a super treat to meet you. I want to give a very special thank you and shout out to Kimberly Skyrme, casting director, C.S.A, for casting this show. Thank you. We love you, Kimberly, so much. We appreciate you. You are the best. And let's jump right into it. Okay. So I've got some wonderful movie posters on the screen, and we're going to talk a little bit more about your background and all the fun things that you're doing. But I did want to touch on Dorothy with the Witches of Oz and Hollywood.
Yes.
So these two posters, I love both of them because I know one is about Hollywood and one is about the Wizard of Oz. So Barry, take it away. What are they about, and what did you play?
Well, they're fantastic. Hollywood, as you know from the little tagline that says "I'm Hollywood's auctioneer." I play an auctioneer a lot in a lot of feature films and television. And when I got that call from Ryan Murphy, it just couldn't be better, right? I mean, he's one of the biggest producers in Hollywood. Well, it was kind of funny. They had called and asked if I would do it. They'd see me in another show. And I said, sure, I'd love to do it. He said, hey, send me a tape for the director. I'm going to send it off to him. I said, great. So at the end of that one, I just always ad-lib. So when I shifted right into the last part, I just finished the auction and I said, sold the Subterranean for $253,000. Up next, we have the complete DVD set of, good God, I did Ryan Murphy's, I did American Horror Story. And we have the complete DVD box set. We'll start bidding at $2 million, looking at 2.1, better looking at 2.3, having 2.3 back, $20 million in the back, $20 million to go, sold. So I did that whole little thing. And so when I got to set, that was the first thing he did was say, oh my God, we were watching that. And that was really, really funny because I actually had done Nip Tuck with Ryan Murphy 100 years ago. I shouldn't say 100 years ago, but I remember being on set and I was talking to, the character, and as you know, they have an Australian accent. They're not English, and I was explaining to him that it wasn't pronounced four, it was pronounced four. Well, I'm from the South, and Ryan Murphy remembers to this day that, Barry, neither one of you know how to speak English, so do not teach each other how to say words. So I had such a great time in Hollywood because, again, that's so many wonderful people. I mean, it was such a great cast, and to sit and talk to those people. I of course, got to work with Patti LuPone very close. And of course, she's an idol of mine. And Patti is so funny. As we started setting up at the first shot at the mansion, and I don't want to go on too long about this one, but it's just so much fun and experience that people need to understand. I guess it comes back to, because I've heard you and Paul do it in past interviews with people. They say, look, you got to be prepared, right? You got to know improv. You got to show up and know what to do. Well, it was really funny when Ryan said, hey, Barry, you're an auctioneer in television film. How would you shoot the scene? I said, well, you're doing a walk and talk from the pool. I've already timed it out at 2 minutes, 38 seconds. She's got 22 seconds before she hits the first pillar. I'm going to do an overall master shot. Then I'll make it clean for the pillar so you can pick up with the other three cameras. And then I'll make it clean for the actors. And then I'll give you a wild track at the end. And he started laughing. And Patti LuPone said, why don't you let Barry direct it? He goes, it's a good idea. Why don't you direct it, Barry? So I ended up doing the scene, and those type of things are just rich experiences. Now, you mentioned Dorothy and the Witches of Oz. Now, I got to play the Cowardly Lion, which, again, I don't know if that's a compliment, but people always go, I can see that. And I wasn't saying put them on. I can sit. So I played the cowardly lion in that, and that of course was Eliza Swenson played the Wicked Witch. We had Billy Boyd from Lord of the Rings, Sean Astin. We had Christopher Lloyd played the wizard, and those guys are such, they're storytellers. And you guys have talked to those people. You've worked with those people. I'll get to that in a minute, Paul, because I know you worked with Nicolas Cage. So I have a funny story on Nicolas Cage. But you've worked with these people. So when you meet a Christopher Lloyd, Christopher, she'll shoot your scene, and instead of going away, you'll sit and you'll tell those stories. And I'm so enriched and thankful and grateful for people like you, for people like Christopher Lloyd, because the first story Chris sat with me at lunch, and he goes, "Yeah, Barry, I was in New York, and I was with my ex-wife and my current wife, and we outnumbered the Broadway audience 3-1." And just those funny stories. and to see that those people have gotten there, and yet when you hit go, they're ready to go. Because again, they're prepared. They don't have any issues whatsoever. They understand how to do the business. And so to work with those, and I've since become good friends with Billy Boyd, who plays Pippin from Lord of the Rings. And Billy, he played what you think is the Tin Man. I won't give it away, but I still call Billy to this day. I was doing a film where I needed an Irish accent, so you know how you guys do it all the time. Pick up the people that do it every day. And so Billy will always jump on the phone and go, "Oh, yeah, better. I got to say ghetto." And I go, "What did you just say to me?" So he'll say ghetto. Say, "I only word you need is ghetto." I go, "I got it. I'm in it." And so just to meet those people and to grow, you guys have seen it 100 times, and I want to do it with you. I've been doing this for, I keep saying full-time, 35 years. It's closer to 40. And, I did Miami Vice with Don Johnson, and then ended up doing Nash Bridges with Don Johnson, and became good friends with Jeff Perry, who I talked to and told him I was doing this show. Jeff, as you know, is on Alaska Daily with Hilary Swank. And, he played Cyrus on Scandals. And Jeff formed the Steppenwolf Theater Company with Gary Sinise, John Malhoney, Joan Allen, John Malkovich, Laurie Metcalf, his ex-wife. Those guys they were the first theatrical group to win a Presidential Medal of the Arts. So, and I'm trying to break a world record for name dropping within the first 3 minutes. How am I doing?
You're doing beautiful. Okay. Keep going.
Because tomorrow I'm going to drop your name. I'm going to go, you wouldn't believe this. This AJ Dean, she's a supermodel, but I'm sort of shocked she didn't wear any different color hair. And then you got Paul. Now, Paul, on the other hand, Paul owns a cigar shop and he's a comedian. So, Paul, I'm ready for you. Let's go.
I'm a little offended that you left out supermodel, but I guess we'll give you a pass.
No, Paul, you may be svelte and thinner than me, but I'm going to tell you, it's when I showed up for set on this last film. We'll get to that. I'll get back to details. But, let me see that Submariner, man. I collect watches. Look at that thing, Paul. Look at that hunking thing on your hand. There you go. But when I went to the last set, I use that joke all the time. I tell them I'm the largest actor here by 45 pounds. And I was in the last movie. I don't want to veer off on that. I was going to let you ask the question of that, but I just finished filming 4 weeks an action film. I'll dive into that. It's called Call Her King. And I told everyone I'm the John Wick of the movie. We all know I'm the John Candy with a gun, but that's just the way it is. Now, you had an original question, AJ. What?
AJ, I should probably warn you. I don't think we're going to get in a word in edgewise when you're interviewing someone that does auction.
Oh gosh!
For a living.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I may give you a slate and go. Would you like to have dinner with Paul and AJ? Sure, we'll start the bidding for that at 200,000. 200,000 bid looking at 225. Got 250 in the back, looking at 275. 275 up front. Going once here, looking for 300. 275 going twice. Anybody else? Sold for 275,000. Oh yeah.
I don't know what I bought, but I'm so happy I bought it.
I promised I wouldn't do that because look at her, AJ. That's perfect. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, AJ. That's great. No, I watched your other interviews, and I promised I would not do that because I've seen people do that come on your show. I think I just watched one the other day, and it was just really funny because you did exactly that. You and Paul said, "Hello, this is so-and-so." And that person made me look like I was slow. I won't even mention their name. But literally, they got on your show and said, "It's really nice to be here. It's going to be a beautiful day." You know what I really like about filming?
That's amazing. That's amazing. You're incredible. What a variety of acting and characters you have in your toolbox. Barry, you are incredible. Already you've done like 5 auditions here. And so if anyone wants to hire you, you can play pretty much anything. Isn't that right?
Yes. Again, when we get to the current things, but last month I played an incredible, horrible racist in a movie called Trinket Box. I played James Davis. I'm a racist from the 1930s. And then in this hero movie, I'm the anti-racist. So yeah, that's correct. It's constant. Well, thank you. That's very good. kind of you. I'll just use this for my audition tape. Next time they call, don't worry.
You got it all right here. Heinz 57 with everything, right? Heinz 57 sauce. It's got a bit of everything, right? Doesn't it? Okay, so.
Well, I did get the last call. What was that, a week ago? And I think that was with maybe The Rock is doing something, and they wanted me to play Bill Clinton. And of course, what's really funny about that is that when I get really tired in the afternoon, I sound just like him. You sure are pretty, AJ. And Paul, you're kind of cute too, looking sexy. It just snaps because I get tired. That's the only impression I do. There we go.
That's fantastic. You know, I voted for Bill Clinton, so I love that, and you do it very, very well. Don't you think, Paul? Didn't he do a good job?
Oh, he was spot on. I was like,
Well,
oh, yeah, charming. I'll vote for him.
I appreciate that, Paul and AJ, but I got to tell you, when you said you voted for him, does that mean you went out with him or you voted for him?
I voted for him.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good.
Yes, you got my vote, Mr. President.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll put it on your voicemail anytime.
So, Barry, this is so much fun. Hope you're having a fun time too, Paul. Oh, yeah. I did want to mention a few productions that you have been in. You've been in Ted 2, General Hospital. Wow, I used to watch that with my mom. Marvel's Hawkeye on Disney Plus, The Longest Ride from Nicholas Sparks, Elvis from Outer Space, like you mentioned. And you also won a Mendez Award last year. So can you tell us about that? What did you win it for? How was that? And what is the Mendez Award? What is it?
That was, gosh, that was just such an honor for so many reasons. But if you'll recall the 8-time Oscar-winning movie Argo, that was about Tony Mendez. Tony Mendez was chief of disguise for the CIA for 27 years. And Ben Affleck played that character. Well, they started this award to recognize people in television and film and who've given back to the community. And they gave it to Tony first. And Tony had Parkinson's, since passed away. After that, they gave it to the governor. And then they gave it to me. And next year, I'm going to give it to an Oscar winner. And I think that makes complete sense to me as my friend's officer. And it was presented by Tom Reifert from the Film Commission. It's also presented by Toby Mendez, Tony's son. And to be involved in that group with his wife, Jana, she's now on Netflix doing, and she opened the Spy Museum down in DC. So to be involved with those guys, I get that question quite a bit. You know, how did you get a movie about a CIA character from a CIA family and from somebody else that's been in the CIA? And I say, stop asking me questions or I'll kill you.
Fair enough.
No. It's for entertainment. It is not for being in the CIA.
Okay.
I am not hiding in plain sight. I'm very big. It's hard to miss me. So no. It just, what a great group of people. I mean, they're wonderful, and they're still doing great work with Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's. I'll give a shout out to them and to Jana. You know, keep up the good work. Bless them all. They're wonderful people.
Incredible. Well, congratulations, Barry, on that achievement. It's really something very special, the Mendez Award, and it just shows all of the dedication and hard work throughout the years that you've been putting into acting in your craft. That they acknowledge you, and we acknowledge you also as a fine actor. And you show up, and you are there. You're present, and you do the job 100%. And that's all that anyone can ask. In fact, that's in your bio. You simply want to be the best, isn't it?
Sure, and it's something that I see that same energy, spirit, and passion in the two of you when you're putting together programs like this and you're delivering entertainment. Because I already had several people go over and look at your shows, and it's remarkable when you find those kindred spirits. Because we all do everything, and it's just about that journey, about having fun. You know, my best friend is a WWE wrestler, Al Snow, and he talks about that all the time. That look, fame is not something you seek; it's something that can give you the benefit to do what you love and enjoy. And you know, and he honors the people. I've watched him so many times because that's a joke when I used to travel around him or Hulk Hogan or those guys. You know, they have a line out the door, and nobody knows who I am. You know, literally last week I had someone come up to me at a dollar store. And they said, "Oh my God, I love you. You're Tony Stewart's manager." Now there's an obscure one, the NASCAR driver. you're Tony Stewart's fan. I go, sure, because I do commercials for Tony Stewart. If you look at Tony Stewart Learns French, I do racing with Danica Patrick, Tony Stewart, and the world's greatest drag racer, which I have on the wall, Courtney Force. So I do some commercial announcing as well. And so they came up to me, and I was so excited because, as you know, my own mother doesn't know my name to steal from Notting Hill. And this person goes, oh my God, we just love you. You're an actor. And I go, yeah, I'm super cool. I'm a great actor. They go, you're Beau Bridges, aren't you? I go, thank you. And I signed the autograph Beau Bridges. And gave it back. I don't care. He's an Oscar winner, right, Paul? He's an Oscar winner.
Yeah, of course, take it. When I'll try to make this very short, but I had a similar experience when I went to go visit Saturday Night Live back in the 1900s. When my friend got hired on the show, and so I went to his first show. Cameron Diaz was the host. Smashing Pumpkins were the band. It was his first show, and he's Chilean. It's Horatio Sanz. He's Chilean. I'm not. We both came up in Chicago, so maybe we have that same voice, or you know, we're from Chicago, where we don't got an accent, type of a thing. And after the show, as I'm walking out, because we're gonna go to the after party with him and jump in like Tina Fey's limo. I'm walking out, and this really cute little Chilean couple comes up to me as I'm walking out. They're like, oh, they're kind of in like broken English, like, we are so proud of you. Oh, you're from Chile. We're from Chile. We're also from Santiago. Can we take a photo with you? Por favor. And I'm like, I'm not who you, and then they're like, please don't say no. I'm like, okay, but I'm not Horatio. So I took a photo with them, and I would imagine that photo is probably hanging over their mantle to this day. Like, oh, we met Horatio after the show. He was so nice. And then they had me autograph something, and I think I put not Horatio, Paul Vato, something to that effect. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, they thought I was Horatio. And I kind of just took it, which he would probably have an issue with, but I was like, I couldn't say no to them. I would have broken their heart on his behalf.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You made it a fun experience for them, and that's what's great, man. All that stuff.
Yes.
You know that there's nothing better than we love people seeing us when we started our career in a background somewhere when your family sees it. I get that so many times. It's so funny. We do all this work and work hard, and then they recognize us, go, hey, I saw you in the back of a wedding planner. Like, okay.
That is
some of my best work.
Yeah. There you go.
Paul, did you have any questions or anything you wanted to share at this point?
No, I think my mind is also racing from that espresso, but no, I'm loving this. I love talking about everything there is to do with the entertainment industry, and to get recognized just for something like that something that's a little obscure. I think that it's not your biggest role, but people just recognize you. There's just some, it really hits home, and people think that we're special. So we should treat them. I think we should treat them that way and feel special. But we would do it no matter what. In this industry,
you do it because you love people, and I love that about both of you, Barry and Paul. You both love people. You love entertaining. And so I did.
Oh, AJ, don't get away from that, because remember what you did with Don Ho all those years. I got to tell you, there was not a better moment in my life than I used to sit with my parents in the middle of the country. I'm the youngest of 7. My mother was the youngest of 18. We were in the middle of the country, dirt floor poor, and we used to watch Don Ho on Love Boat. So
I knew his cousin, Ass.
I'm keeping that in.
Yeah, you should keep that in. That's terrible, Paul. I like that a lot.
On a serious note, Barry, you were born and raised in Virginia. You have education in broadcasting, engineering. We can all tell because you're so smart at things. You have a journalism education as well, and theater. And you're also a licensed financial advisor, and you help people in the entertainment industry. Boy, you've had a smorgasbord of career paths, Barry.
I have. I've been very fortunate to be controlled bipolar, tripolar. And, I do a lot of Quaaludes, codeine, and morphine and cocaine all the time. And it keeps me going. So I think I want to be a doctor when I retire. So I'm going to study for that. I've lost my mind. I love doing 2 full-time jobs. And again, you've had people on here that were finance. I got into that just because, again, for some apparent reason, I'm a math genius, but I cut my hand in half on a kitten plate a few years ago. So we're not all good at everything. But I literally love working with families, helping people out. And then that fell into just select people, and then just and that fell into the entertainment people that I knew the business. And it's really kind of funny because here lately I've gotten a lot of country music performers, and I've done a bunch of videos with them. And I love country music people. I love all kinds of music. Of course, Don Ho first, but I love all kinds.
Country and Western.
Oh yeah, I forgot completely about that. But I didn't hear you tell a joke about it, so go ahead.
No, I think that's from the Blues Brothers.
Is it really? Okay. Yeah. My mother is.
I like it all, country and Western.
Country and Western. My mother was bald headed, played the banjo, and we're divorced, but she's still my sister. So I'm from the country, so I don't have a problem with that.
Actually, so that's what now. What's the animosity between, say, Virginia and West Virginia?
Well, there's a sign, as you know, going into West Virginia that says, "If you can read this, don't come in." And I think that's really the animosity. It just kind of ticks us off. And again, my family ranges from doctors to rednecks, so it's more fun than you could possibly imagine. Please, you're both invited to Christmas. I go in and start talking politics, religion, abortion, just dive right in there, and then I leave, come back and watch them fighting. But I just went to a picnic, and I took a friend from the city, as it were, and my brothers were wearing Hawaiian shirts and carrying guns. And she goes, "Why are you carrying guns?" She goes, "I don't know. If it gets out of hand, we might have to put somebody down." They're just weird, and yet they laugh. I have a brother who's going to watch this who hates illegal immigrants, and he's married to one. So, but they have that sense of humor where there's nothing, like you were talking Spanish. There's nothing I enjoy going to her and going, "Estás muerto."
Oh my gosh. Well, that is so country. I'll tell you, that is so country. But here's what I love about country. I love biscuits and gravy. How about you?
Well, I happen to make the best biscuits and gravy in the world. I was a supermodel your size 20 years ago. And yes, absolutely. Mine immediately caused a heart attack. Just dial 911. I love biscuits and gravy. Thank you for bringing it.
Be sure and send that recipe to Paul and I, please, Barry, because we would love to have your secret recipe for biscuits and gravy.
I will send it to you.
Barry, I would love to invite you to join my male dance troupe called the Chunkendales. I think you'd be fantastic.
Well, do you want me to take off my shirt now? Because I am sexy. I mean, that's the thing, because they never let me do it, Paul. On every movie, I have a nudity clause, but they won't let me install it. So
not tonight.
I'm happy to show you what I have.
Not tonight on my shift. Maybe on someone else's.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm already pantsless, so might as well take the top off.
Absolutely. So
Barry. Now you made a reference to your weight, and it sounds like, have you lost weight? Were you heavier before, or
a little bit? I've gone up and down here lately. I mean, it's really worked out well because you go into different sectors. Like I said, you go from the handsome lead to the dad to the grandfather to now every script says cherub cheek, fat Southern old lawyer, and so I mean in this last movie, it literally said old judge. And I'm going, old, man, that sucks. But I play say I'm an older judge. Thank God there was another one older than me and he gets killed. But yeah, I mean, it bounces up and down now. And I do love the range of those roles. As you've seen some of my real stuff. I mean, the auctioneer thing is just a specialty that I do. But when it comes to the things which I've been doing lately, which are some incredible supporting roles, it just fits my age. And, so I don't consider it obese, but I'm working on it.
I would say you're at your prime. Wouldn't you, Paul? Aren't you at your prime now, Barry? Because you're doing all these great film projects. And like you said, you've even got Trinket Box due next year, and the portrait with Virginia Madsen, and then Call Her King, all these great film productions and projects going on. It's just congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, I love that. You're exactly right. You feel comfortable with it when you hit that stride, but that just comes from, as you guys know, in the business, working a lot. So.
Well, you are so much fun to interview. And so I've got my controversial question. Here we go. You ready? Strap on your belt.
I am Jewish. I'm saying that after the Dave Chappelle thing. Is that what you're going to ask me? I love Jewish people and Catholics.
Okay.
Okay, go. I'm ready, AJ.
Okay, you're
I'm
ready. Very good. Okay, here's the controversial question. This is the most debated question. Is there life after death?
Damn it, no!
He does his
Is it
own
like
stunts, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Did you
is it
see
life
that?
after death? Well, as a person who studied religion for the comedy aspect, uh, there has to be. Yes, I would refer everyone that's looking for an intellectually stimulating and very deep, soulful answer to watch Phenomenon with John Travolta. You cut out a light, it just dissipates through the world, doesn't it? You know, look at the energy you guys provide. I mean, I was asleep 5 minutes before you put me on this call, and it just hanging out with the two of you brings me back to life. So wouldn't that be life? We're all made of electricity. If you'd like me to talk about the neurolinguistic programming, where we have a reticulating activating system, which is trained by neural pathways, God, that was boring to me. I fell asleep during it. So yes, did I answer that question at all, or did I avoid it like a politician?
Well, I think you said yes. So, you know, because consciousness is life. Consciousness. If there's consciousness, there's life, and if there's consciousness. So yes, and I hope there is too. I believe there is life after death, and you do too, Barry. So
absolutely, I do. Absolutely, I have been shot. I have been stabbed. I have had 6 concussions. And so fried chicken is going to kill me. I'm 100% sure. I made it this far.
So have that extra piece of pie. Is that your recommendation? Yeah.
Absolutely. Have dessert first, because you never know what's going to happen.
Okay.
That is words to live by. When I owned my gourmet ice cream and coffee shop, people would say like, "Oh, we're going to go grab something to eat and then come back for dessert." And I'd be like, "You know what? Life is uncertain. Dessert first." So I love that you said that, Barry.
Well, I appreciate that very deep question, AJ. Why no colored hair tonight? I have a question.
Oh, well, you know, this is just my regular hair. I just thought, why not, you know, I change it up. I could have worn a wig tonight, you know, or some colored hair, but this is me for tonight. And so I like to change it up. But thank you so much. You can always see you know, my other episodes with colored hair.
It's very beautiful either way. It's very beautiful.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for asking. And Paul, over to you. Is there life after death?
You know what? I certainly hope not, because of some of the awful things I've done. So yeah, I just thought it'd be over, and then lights out. You know what? I've gone. You know, I grew up Catholic. I did my 12 years of parochial school, and so of course being raised Catholic. You know, there is this afterlife. That's why you have to be good. And then the older I got, it was kind of like, well, no, you should just be good because you're a good person. So I try to be good. I'm kind of kidding about awful things, but I go back and forth where it's, you know what, once we're worm food once it's done. But I like to think that because we are made of energy, that then that just continues throughout the universe, throughout time. So I certainly hope that there is. I would love for there to be. I love the thought of there being an afterlife. Because I'm trying to be good no matter what. But yeah, I certainly hope that there is, but I'm not sure. Did you like the way I avoided the question like a politician?
I thought it was great. I would have used the 2 jokes. I tell everybody I'm Buddhist. I'm part Buddhist, part Jewish. We wait patiently for sales. The other one I use is I'm a Presbyterian. We believe when you die, your soul goes up on the roof and you can't get it down. That's pretty much it.
Me too. Wait, are you Jewish?
No. I'm not.
I was like, from Virginia. I'm the Virginia Jews. Interesting. Very
I
interesting.
am not Jewish, but all of my agents are. All of my agents.
I love all of my Jewish friends, and I love all of my Catholic friends as well. So
yeah, it's the Baptist you have to watch out for.
Sure. Southern Baptist.
Hey, that's how I was raised. I was walked out of Bible school 4 times. My poor mother. The last time I was 10 years old, and I asked the person teaching the Bible school, why don't Southern Baptists make love standing up? Somebody might think they're dancing. And they got so mad at me. I thought it was a good joke.
That's good.
Hilarious. So you do comedy improv as well, right, Barry?
Oh, I was so terrible at that because again, I couldn't do cocaine and stay up all night long. Yeah, I used to do the Comedy Store 100 years ago. I actually toured at summer concerts with Tony Danza.
Oh, wow. I remember Tony Danza.
Tony's making a comeback, I think. But yeah, he did a Broadway type show, and he would do 45 minutes of that, and I would do the audience comedy before him. And I did it with the ladies of the 80s, some country music performers. So yeah, that was 100 years ago as well. I love comedy. It's that's another great training ground. But yeah, I didn't have the stomach for that, oddly enough, and acting's just as hard. But I liked acting a little better.
So this is wonderful. So Barry, what is next for you? What do you want? Who do you want to work with as a director or actor? What's your dream job?
Gosh, it's so those questions are very, very difficult because everyone's my dream job, and I treat everyone like an Oscar. And you guys know this. People talk about, you'll hear someone say bad experience. I've never had one. I've been doing this for so long and never had a bad experience. And the film we just completed, I mean, I shot 5 people, we're blowing up a courthouse, we're having such a great time. But that being said, the director was an action director, working with George Tillman Jr., who did Notorious, that was in The Longest Ride. When I shot White Collar up in New York, in walks Harrison Ford, and that was the Nicolas Cage thing I was going to throw out to Paul. Is that I'm on set, somebody knocked at my door, and I was working with Willie Garson. Willie wasn't there, and I opened the door, and it was Nicolas Cage, because you know how you get the weird things on set. And Nicolas opened the door, he goes, "Is Willie here?" And I go, "No." He goes, "Oh, can I wait in your trailer?" I go, "Sure." So it's just a wacky ass world. I think so. Looking forward to things. I went to a SAG meeting one time with Anthony Hopkins, and you know how there's usually 20 or 40 people there. And as he gets older too, a lot of the younger people didn't know him. And I asked him one question. This goes back to acting. I asked him one question. I said, "How do you break down a script?" Because he's an idol of mine. And Anthony Hopkins said, "Barry, sit down." He spent an hour with me marking up script and talking about it, just sitting there with me. That's what these people do when they're away from the bullshit. We get so carried away with that because of reality shows, which they're all our guilty pleasure. But we get so carried away with forgetting that these guys have a love for it that runs so deep that I want to respect that and honor that every single time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're in it for the long haul, Barry. And so when are you going to be writing your book?
I do want to write one called Life, One Long String of Unrelated Events. I'll start, really with going out from, I should never say that one. Correct. I'm working on it. Let's just leave it at
that. Come on. You can't leave
no, we can't. I can't give you any of the stories about going out with Anna Nicole Smith.
Okay. Have you met any presidents?
I have met 5. It has, again, I think what we're realizing here, I want it to sound like it's great because, as my buddy says, unfortunately, 97% of my stories are true. But I have I've met 5 presidents. So what we've discovered from this entire interview is that I'm phenomenally old. I actually, starting in college when I was president student body, I went to a seminar at Virginia Military Institute, and we had 4 presidents there. So then, and I actually met Bill Clinton when he was governor. I didn't meet him when he's president. I met him when he was governor in, you're Bill Clinton, who was one of the best orators of all time. But I met Bill in Kansas City. I think we were touring. What's the plant there? What's the only thing in Kansas City? Hallmark cards. And I met him for a dinner there. And then I got to sit with these people. So it's really fun. Gerald Ford, good Lord, President Nixon, Jimmy Carter, really way back there. And so I am terribly old, at least I
That's incredible. And, you're right. Bill Clinton, our president, is a great communicator, isn't he?
He really is. I think to have that ability, again, these guys are tried and true, that they can talk on any issue. And that's really what we need, not to veer off, because I won't veer off on any particular political candidate. But now the sad part of our society is that we have just become divisive to hate each other because, as you know, you pull at the thread of the fabric of life with the internet. I can talk about that for days. You've opened Pandora's box. You get everybody that wants to dislike each other. And I think we've actually gained some ground the past year or so where people are now having conversations. We're having fun like this. We're laughing, but we're having more conversations that are equal. And I think somebody like a Bill Clinton delivered that, every time he spoke. But the others, you got to admit, the others are really funny. I'm so glad Joe Biden's president. I love George Bush. He was funny all the time when he talked about how hard the job was. I love those guys.
We do too. And Paul, over to you.
Have I met? I've met. Is that the question? How many have I met any presidents, or what was
Yes.
the question?
Yeah.
Yes. I met, and I don't think well, he was never president, but I think he ran for president. This was when I was like 5 years old, and the Democratic Party used me for slave labor because of my mom put us to work folding things and mailing things. And that was maybe a guy named Benson who may have run for president. I remember he was something to do in Texas. But then I met George Bush, the father. I met Dole, who I think was what, Vice President Dole.
Yep.
And then but I think most importantly, my fellow Chicagoan, Barack Obama, actually follows me on Twitter. And I don't know how that happened. But I try to be respectful and retweet his stuff. And when my Republican friends ask, because I have a lot of them, I'm in Vegas and these are billionaire casino owners, I'm like, well, if any other president would follow me, I would retweet them too. But I kind of just try to retweet people that follow me. And, but yeah, so I'm very shocked, but very proud of the fact that Obama follows me on Twitter. For now, I take photos of it every now and then just to prove, in case that somebody's like, why are you following this idiot? This is the guy that photocopied his ass into a copier and then fell into it. It was a Netscape commercial. But, so I've sort of met a few presidents, but yeah, I'm happy to say that Barack follows me on Twitter.
That's
awesome.
Cool. That is so cool, isn't it? Barry, what do you think of that?
I think that's fantastic because he was another great speaker.
Yes.
And now the competition is on for me to follow Paul and to see if he ever says nice things about me. And
Well, for me, I have met. Well, I did meet President Ronald Reagan. That was years ago. On Avenue of the Stars in the Fox Plaza.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was really cool. But anyway, so I'm in the club with you, both of you gentlemen. So that's really, really fun. And
that's excellent. That's where I shot Ted 2 and something else. What else did I shoot there? Yeah, I can't remember it. I know I shot something else recently. Oh, Fresh Off the Boat. Buddy of mine's a writer for Fresh Off the Boat.
Okay.
And There's a Small World. I was talking about getting that award and receiving the Mendez Award from the group in DC. I actually got it in Maryland, and I ran into Mel Gibson a lot, and he said, "Hey, I've been to the Maryland Theater," and it's just everybody's been everywhere because they work.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for that. Thank you, Barry. This is so much fun. This show. So I do want to say, is there something you'd like to promote, Barry? I'd like to give you the platform, and over to you. Anything you'd like to promote or shout out to?
Oh, sure. I could go on for hours. I mean, we'll do the standard 4-line promotion. And not really. I really enjoy when people get to go see things. And like I said, the portrait's coming out with Virginia Madsen. Trinket Box will be really good. And for me, Call Her King is going to be a great action film. We have such a good group of people in that. Everybody was 20 and I didn't know anybody, so it was awesome. It's going to be a really fun film. But and I'm in pre-production too with Danya Youssef and Rosanna Morley in London. And, we're looking at Monster and Mummy, which is a cancer movie, a story of Phoenix rising from the ashes. And then that's the same way with Maddie, that film we're working on. So a lot of pre-production, a lot going on. And we'll just watch them next year as they come up. It's more fun when you're surprised. Now you'll see me and you'll go, oh my God, we interviewed Beau Bridges. He's great.
Yes. And so, Barry, how can people see you and support you? Are you on Instagram, IMDb?
Oh my God! You look 12 years old, AJ. I mean, I assume you're 25 because you know these things. I'm on all of those, but I don't know how they work at all. So please feel free to go on there and follow Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, all those things that I have no idea how they work.
Foursquare, wasn't there something called Foursquare?
Yes, remember MySpace too, and Justin Timberlake bought it. I just auditioned for Justin, and I wanted to say something about MySpace. How did that work out for you? Didn't he buy it from Sony for like $35 million after they paid $400 million for it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
so everything goes way in. But you were talking about. You were talking about projects. If they want to watch now, just what you said, Hawkeye is on Disney Plus You can watch Hollywood on Netflix, Mindhunt, Deadly Games, Elvis from Outer Space. Hey, Outsiders just started on Hulu yesterday. So with the streaming services, they just cycle. And I played Don Fouché on that one. And
Wonderful, wonderful. That's so great. Well, it's
our
been
Film Talk with AJ Dean, that's available on podcast. That's available on podcast. It's one of the best shows you'll ever watch. Catch it.
Thank
And
you.
don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell because you like it. And if you want to buy the full DVD box, it's only $19.95. And that's a biodegradable case. And I guarantee you'll like that. And that's not valid anywhere. That's only $19.95. We'll also send you an easy to follow DVD instructional video on AJ Dean and Paul himself. Now, that video is free. That's a $495 value, only $19.95. Order today.
And don't forget, you get a 50% off AJ Dean perfume and Paul Vato perfume.
Yes.
Design.
Yes, and we'll throw in the inside the chicken egg scrambler, and that's a $500 value. That's only $19.95. Remember,
and if you act now, you'll get a free stress ball squeezy that will include at no additional cost.
This is getting out of control.
AJ.
I'd like to thank AJ and Paul for this award, Dick Clark for the hair, and mostly myself for all the hard work, because God, I worked hard. Thank you. I love you.
Amazing, amazing. I want to throw in a copy of the Kama Sutra, which actually has a sex move in there called the Tony Danza. I'd rather not. It just ends with you smacking somebody and going like, "Who's the boss?" Expletive.
Don't forget the bottle of vodka that Tony drank every morning for breakfast. He knows it. It's not like he doesn't know it. So there you go.
The Danza slap. And follow me at paulvato.com. And thank you, everybody.
AJ, where do we need to follow you? Instagram?
Yes, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and yes, and check out Film Talk with AJ Dean. .com. Okay, very good. Thank you for all that promo and wonderful stuff. I can't believe the time has just gone. It's just flown by, but we're going to do our heart messages. These are so important to us. It's what, our motto. It can also be a shout out to someone if your grandma's having a birthday or something like that. But for our heart messages, we usually talk about it, don't we, Paul, each week? And my heart, I'm going to start first before we do that. But I do want to say, Barry, you have been a phenomenal guest and we have enjoyed you so very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, my heart message this week is be different and show the way. What do I mean by that? Well, be different because everyone else is already taken. You've heard this probably before. So be yourself, your authentic self, and be different than anyone else. Choose your own different path. And what was the second one, Paul, that I said? Oh, show the way. Okay, show the way. What do I mean by that? Be an example. I think I said this a little bit last week too. Be an example and show the way of how to conduct yourself in this world so that your energy is good and you bring benefit to this world, yourself and others. And that's my heart message. And thank you so much for watching and tuning in. And I'm going to send it over now to Barry. Barry, your heart message for this week.
Oh, it's so easy. Unfortunately, my mother passed away around Thanksgiving and she was never sick, never unhappy. She was such a great guiding force and passion and strength and energy in the world. And there's so many other people. So I appreciate your heart message. It is really beautiful to show that because I remind people all the time when I hear people getting too ridiculous and not enjoying life and getting too combative, I say, listen, my mother taught me from a young age. I'm so lucky that being raised in the mountains, bald-headed, played a banjo. Again, she still set me down from age 6 and said, hey, listen, don't forget. It's very, very clear. If you admire someone, if you love someone, if you respect them, if you look up to them, you don't notice race, creed, color, sex, or sexual orientation. That's it. And I have seen that every day of my life. So I certainly respect you guys and admire you guys for what you do every day. So thank you. That's my Thanksgiving message to both of you as well.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Barry. I received that and that was absolutely lovely. And thank you to your grandmother and you. Bless her heart. And Paul, over to you for your heart message.
Well, I almost have to reiterate what you said. I mean, it was such a pleasure and an honor to get to speak with Barry and meet via Zoom, and hopefully one day IRL, and we get to work together, because it's been such a great experience, and you have so much wonderful things to share with the world, and just your experiences. So thank you for sharing that, and I hope that somebody listens to this and decide that, yeah, I do want to be an actor and follow this path and share my journey. And so thank you guys. Thank you, AJ, for having me. And yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily my heart message, but that's, I think, what I'm going with. Thank you for allowing us to create.
It's a good
Thank
one.
you. Thank you so much. And last words over to you, Barry. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. And anything else you'd like to say before we sign off?
Well, as my best friend always quotes, he says, Barry, I always say to him, what I'm hearing sounds so much better than what you're saying. So thank you. I am very handsome and I have wonderful hair. That's so nice of you to mention that tonight. I think the final words are simple. Look, what you guys do is add to the world. Again, you chase passion of life. And I am so grateful for people like you in our life. You're right, Paul. You're right, AJ. I'd love to work with you guys. I'll just put it in my contract from now, and I won't work it without the two of you. But when you do things like this, you were talking about the afterlife. Well, guess what? The afterlife is energy. We're made up of electricity. The energy from the two of you builds the universe I want to be in.
Oh, what a beautiful thing to say. Thank you so much, Barry. We're really making a difference. Oh my gosh, many hearts, much love and many hearts to you, Barry. We just appreciate you so much. Please keep doing you. You're absolutely fabulous. And we love everything about you. Isn't that right, Paul?
100%. This has been one of the most enjoyable episodes of Film Talk with AJ Dean. So I'm looking forward to many more, but this has been one of the highlights. So thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. And until next time, whoops, I've got the rose. That was a rose. Until next time, au revoir, and stay happy and stay busy, and much love until we meet again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.